Hello, I am BBM, and this is Chapter 8 of my Tiering Saga 0% Growth playthrough. So this is the first map with monsters in it. So, before I talk about monsters a little, you're just going to see one of our new units, Catchery, use a staff to actually summon some of our own monsters. So, we can't control the monsters that you can summon with the different summon staves, but you do get to have monsters fight for you in this game, which is kind of cool. Since in Fire Emblem 8 you have to hack that if you want to do it. So you might be wondering if monsters in this game are any better than in Fire Emblem 8. Not the regular zombies. In fact, they're probably even worse. They have 1 or 0 or 2 at the most in every non-HP stat, and their HP stat is ranges from only 20 to 22. Their one saving grace is that the weapon they use, their claws, have no weight, so they actually are not very easy to double on 0% growths, since they have a base an attack speed of 0. Other than that, this map is quite straightforward. You probably see that this is another map where we have a bunch of new units. We're surrounded by enemies and you have to get to them and try to save them. This is probably the easiest of the lot because of how bad the monsters are. Xeno, the fighter, is perfectly capable of one-rounding all the enemies near him, and you might think that Catchery is in danger, but she really isn't. Not only can she summon zombies for her protection, you're about to see something really cool that she can do on the next phase. As for the new units, the most important of them is Catchery. As you can see there, she transformed into a dragon on the in a cutscene in the middle of the phase. So we can't control her like this, at least not in on this phase. In the future, we will be able to control her, but her stats basically become ridiculous, and she pretty much becomes undamageable by enemies to the point where she pretty much won't be attacked. So you're basically just killing enemies with impunity. One thing to note about the golden zombies, the mummies, so they're even worse than the regular zombies. They have only 10 HP and their stats are pretty much 0 and everything else. But they give more experience than regular zombies, so they're really good to train up weaker characters. As you're going to see, Mater is going to get a ton of experience in this chapter, killing zombies and mummies. That's pretty much all this chapter is really good for. Some of the items in the chests and training weaker characters. So now that we're fighting monsters, you see that Raquel can actually kill them. Let's talk about some of the new units we got. Catchery is pretty good. She's basically the equivalent of Entei, but for Holmes. We talked about how Holmes is the second lord, and that there are root splits in this game. So following this map, we're going to have our first root split, and Catchery is forced on pretty much all of Holmes' maps, like Entei is on Runen's maps. So on one hand, she can heal, she can summon, and if you need a crutch, she can transform into a dragon and kill everything. Then we got Xeno. Xeno is he's better on a regular playthrough because he has pretty decent growths and he learns some cool skills, but his bases are just not good enough on 0% growths. So now we see the only difficult part of this chapter. So for this turn and the next 3 turns, enemy pirates are gonna land on the beach, and uh, they're not really too difficult. But to be honest, I forgot where they spawned. Um, I haven't played this chapter in a while, so for some reason I thought they spawned near the bottom, and that they then started spawning progressively further up. But it's actually the other way around. So if I'd had my units waiting there in the north from the beginning, I could have dealt with all of them much easier. Because I would have gotten a head start. But instead, I'm pretty much left to deal catch up, because by the time I can attack any of the enemies, the second group of them has come, so there's already 8 of them. So the most noteworthy enemies in this group is that mercenary in the middle. He has an herb, so he's gonna be really tough to kill, because he's also got quite good defense, actually. And other than that, the thieves in this chapter wield slim swords, so they're absurdly fast. It's pretty much impossible to double them. On 0% goats at least, and even on a regular playthrough, I think probably only your very best units like Neon or somebody who's fast like Mater would be able to do it. A third unit is Uni. She's a thief, so she can open the chests and steal items, and there's nothing else she can do, but that's still quite useful, because as you'll see later on in the game, there's a bunch of chapters where the win condition is actually to open all the chests on the map, so her ability comes in really handy there. So as for the chests on the map, you saw Uni get the Iron Shield and the Agility Plus. So those are probably... The Agility Plus is probably the most important item on the map. We're not going to get all the items on this map, just because it would just take too long to move Uni all over the map. It's just not... And it's not really necessary to get all of them. For example, the item in the southeast, near where Mater is waiting, is a Knight Proof, but the only Cavalier or Knight that we're going to promote in this playthrough is Neon, and he's already promoted. So it's not really a huge deal if we miss out on that. It's basically just missing out on the gold I would get from selling it. And then there's also a healing drop, which is just not worth it. The item that Uni's gonna pick up now is noteworthy. It is the Thunder Shield. So, like Iron Shields and Wood Shields boost your defense, Thunder Shields boost your magic resistance, but only towards thunder magic. The magic shield that Zeke came with, that boosts his resistance against all magic. One thing I think I forgot to mention earlier, when I talked about how Khetri was basically invincible and could kill anything and couldn't be killed, you might have thought, like, then why wouldn't people just use Khetri to do everything? And that's because when she's in her dragon form, after a certain number of attacks, she'll transform randomly back to a human. So if that happens during the middle of the enemy phase, she'll pretty much die for sure, because as a cleric, she has extremely poor durability. So here in this area, like, as I said earlier, a part of the reason it was difficult was because I was a turn behind in being able to deal with the reinforcements that came. But even then, I think I could have prioritized the enemies better. and had some and focused on the mercenary more, or rather not focused on the mercenary on player phase, so he would weaken himself on the enemy phase, so then I could, rather than using an herb, so then I would be able to finish him off rather than letting him keep going back and healing. And other than that, just like making sure more experience went to Vega rather than Roger and Raffin. But yeah, and also I underestimated how many units were going to come as part of the reinforcements. I thought it was just 2 units per turn, but it was 4 units per turn. Except on the last turn where there's going to be 2. So, if I'd known that there were going to be so many, I would have probably had Zeke over there to help as well. So now you see why I left Mater in the southeast. So from turns 10 to 15, 4 zombies and a mummy spawn every turn. So, it's basically just a whole lot of experience for anybody who can kill them easily like Mater can. So the reason I'm having her fight with the Iron Sword, not the Iron Spear, you might have noticed earlier that, like, when I accidentally had to use the Iron Spear, she doesn't double with it, so she can't one-hit KO the zombies with it. She can one-hit KO the mummies, obviously, but it's not really worth it to use up all those uses of the Iron Spear and not kill the zombies, and then just leave the mummy with, and just get the one kill for the mummy. So it's better to just use the Iron Sword. Other than that, the zombies there have pretty low chances of hitting her, but it is a 1 random number game. But even then, her chances of death aren't really great, aren't existent. I don't think she'd die even if she got hit by all of them on a single turn. So I was really trying to figure out a way to get Mater to be able to kill this thief, but on the forest, his avoid is just too high. So I was like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I don't care so much about the night proof anyways. So I decided to just, like, let the thief have it. And yeah, also, I didn't realize that Runin wouldn't be able to double those zombies. I just assumed he would be able to, but he can't. With the Iron Sword, he would need to use the Rapier. And I didn't want to waste uses of it there. But he has the 3-kill Iron Sword. So I'm not sure, maybe it would have been a better choice to go with the Rapier over the Iron Sword. It would have been quicker, but speed doesn't really matter since I'm waiting for Uni to get that last chest. So the item in that last chest is a Thunder Sword. So Thunder Sword is basically just a 1 to 2 range sword that attacks off your magic stat. Most of the physical units in this game have pretty terrible magic. The only one that has a good stat is Mater. So most likely I'm going to give her a weapon level plus so that she can use it, because she can't at base. And to be honest, there aren't really a lot of people who want the weapon level plus anyways, so her combat with it is going to be really good. One thing I should mention is that this technically isn't the actual run that happened, not fully. I had to redo the last couple turns just because I messed up with something afterwards, so I had to go back and do it again. But it's pretty much the exact same. The only difference is I think Mater gets a slightly less experience, but she still gets level 15 and learns Earth Saint at the end, as she does here. And here I just realized right now that I actually messed up. of when I got Thunder Shield and when I got the Thunder Sword, but whatever. Anyways, this was chapter 8, and I'll see you guys next time.